mentality of an abuser, the mentality of one who gets into, that zone of becoming someone who is an abusive person to another. There's four elements that we're going to talk about, spread into how they think.
Yes.
And how they come to perpetuate that mentality upon their children and in society. People who are abusers are very intelligent. They
I
are
agree
smart
with
thinkers.
you. They are, because they are so smart that they can manipulate you into
Yes,
you
ma'am.
thinking it's your fault.
Yes, ma'am.
That is the sickest thing, but the most smartest thing at the same time. And this is deeper than what we are going to be allowed to, because of time, to go into. But I think we're going to try our best to sort of, and I think ultimately we're creating awareness, because
Yes.
this is
Woman's
a trend
month.
and it's a woman's month. Like,
Yeah.
it's been happening all over the media. It's more than ever now, I think, being brought to the surface.
Yes.
So why not, let's jump on that bandwagon and create awareness from a youth perspective and from women at large, and even as males. So let's do this.
Think about this as we go to a break. 95% of abusers are men and 5% are women. It's a big gap. It
That
is
is.
a humongous gap.
Too big.
97.2 Kofifi FM. It's where it all began. 0714259577.
Get us on Instagram at Kofifi FM, and then of course on Twitter at Kofifi FM _972. You know, we're on Facebook and we are streaming live. So catch us on Facebook at Kofifi FM 97.2. Do stay tuned for some more.
19 minutes after the hour of 2 o'clock, it is Kofifi FM, where it all began. Where have you found love?
In the community.
Rihanna in the background featuring Calvin Harris. Before that, we gave you another beautiful track by Beyonce, End of Time. It's the first time I heard this track.
It's so old and it's so phenomenal. I want to make my debut. I've always known this, but I've never really admitted to it. So I will do this on air. I am, without a doubt, the biggest Beyonce fan. She gives you a show. She gives you lyrical content. She gives you an image. She gives you a show. Like, that is rare that you get an artist like that.
That she does.
Nobody has, in my experience that I've seen. There's challenges, but she remains Queen Bee with regards to giving you a stage performance of note.
Wow.
You sal nog never so meet me. Nog never.
All right, 20 minutes after the hour of 2 o'clock, it is the KYC hashtag Women Wednesday. It is.
Yeah,
and
man.
as we're celebrating Women's Month, we're going to touch on a topic. Like we said, we gave the topic, the perpetuated mentality of young men
towards young women.
I
love that we chose that word perpetuation because the weight of that word is so, like, once you get into the denotation, if you will, I love the weight of what, because it's so clear how progressive this thing is.
Yes.
The mentality. And there's a lot of things you can speak about when you speak about the mentality from a male's perspective towards a female's perspective, and vice versa. But in this regard, it's definitely a progressive thing.
Yes.
And we choosing to sort of do the very obvious thing right now to speak about how men are treating women, and from young.
Yeah.
How it sort of develops and continues.
True that. Now, I'm going to start off by saying this, that men are not perfect beings.
Mm-hmm.
Yet in that statement, it does not qualify any man, any young man, any boy to ever look at a female and, deem them as the lower figure or the weaker figure. I don't know what did Aristotle say?
He even goes as far as saying that a woman is a deformed man. She is the unfinished man, meaning we are not complete. And we are definitely the inferior to you guys as a superior.
That is ridiculous.
And, it's so, this is really baffling to me. And I think throughout my entire varsity life, this guy's theory is, he's an amazing thinker.
Yeah.
He is so smart,
Yes.
as you said. He has a lot of opposing views, opposing to me, because his views on God is even through the window. But because he's so dynamic in the way that he thinks, that for someone this smart to say something this redundant, I think, I'm like, hey, bruh. He really does challenge you in terms of your values and your thoughts as a 2017 person, not even as a woman, as a person. Because, you can admit to the fact that women have changed the landscape of the world, like, for the better, I think.
Yeah.
But for someone like this, that is such a key shaper or influencer to a lot of theories in the world, to say this about us, or at least to view us in this way, because it's not a fact, it's his thoughts. However, it's so influential that a lot of people have adopted that.
Yeah.
And, I think with regards to how we speak about young boys and young girls, and eventually young men and young women, the relevance of this is that it takes a village to raise a child. And if a child does not feel in that, like, if it doesn't feel a part of that village, it'll burn it down to feel its warmth. And I feel like that is how these violent outbreaks and sort of alternative behavior starts with a child, because as a community, we are not taking the time. It's like, oh, yeah, I see my kid, this is my problem.
Yeah.
And that's not how we should do it. It should start with everybody being for everyone.
True.
Especially, I feel like in the colored community, we generally fight with each other and not for each other. And that is why I can easily say, yeah, I see my problem.
Okay.
So if I see a young boy being abusive towards a young lady, like, that's your problem, girl. Deal with it. Whereas that's not how it should be. So we generally take that route as opposed to the Ubuntu vibe.
Yeah. Now, tapping back into a perpetuated mentality, simply meaning that it's a mentality that goes on and on.
Yes.
It's from one generation to the other. It is kept. It is, it might even increase and escalate to what the height of violence that, it's been taken upon. But then how does it come about? How does it come about that a young man would, because we are, as I don't know, is it J.J. Watson that said that we are born as tabula rasa.
Yes, a blank slate.
A blank
Love
slate.
It. Yes.
Tabula rasa, which is a blank slate. So we learn behaviors as we adapt, as we meet people, as we are influenced by different people. But now that behavior is also learned, whereby I might look at a female and from my perspective, from the knowledge that I've got, from the knowledge that I have learned, I deem you as the weaker person. And I think this has been a wrong teaching that we have got from our fathers, and our grandfathers.
Yeah.
That because you were taken out of my rib, it means that you are some sort of a weaker vessel or a weaker person towards me.
Yes.
But here's an analogy that Miles Monroe made. He says that if I'm going to take a partner, a life partner that is, and we, for an example, we have to pick up a table.
Yes.
And the table is very heavy. I either need someone who is equally stronger with me or stronger than me for that table to be lifted.
Yes.
So in no ways can we make, the default that has been made, that has been perpetuated, that a female is a weaker version of a man. It cannot be, and it cannot be continued in that way. What then becomes the perpetuation of the mentality from the man to the boy? Here's something that is very interesting, and is that men were created to work.
Yeah.
That is the first thing that is given before you even find a wife.
Yes.
You must have some sort of a clear goal, a clear vision in your head before you even take up a wife, before you even decide to marry.
Or have a family.
Because then what begins to become frustrating for a man is that you take up a wife who has all these attributes to come into the relationship, to come into the marriage, to come and help you. Because it is said that you are a helpmate.
Yes.
To come and help you into the relationship, to come and help you build that vision, build that dream, build that goal. And if you don't have a goal, you don't have a vision, then the woman becomes now the object of your wrong concern.
Yes.
Now that she is always nagging on you, Vana koopons, the paint on my haste paint.
Tiles.
Vana koopons die tiles. All of these things. And now you become frustrated because it's small things that tick someone.
Yes.
And, escalates you and pushes you to a certain level of reaction. And because then many a man, and it's one example, it's not the example, it's one example of many. Because then you are, festered with confusion. Because the worst thing that you can do to a man is take away work from him. When a man does not have work, he's really frustrated. You can take a woman away, you can take, money away, you can take cars away, but take him away from work, then you begin to find a horrible person.
I love that you're saying this, because I literally just read an article with, I think it's in Mpumalanga, where a female teacher got shot by her husband in front of her grade 2 learners. And it starts off with him losing his job.
Wow.
And it perpetuated.
Wow.
Things got worse. She moved out of the house. He threatened her, and then he killed her. I think it was yesterday or this morning. He killed her in front of, in her workplace.
Yes.
And I think in a sense that she's also got work. It also threatened him.
Yes.
That he is no longer the provider. And this image of the male being the worker, the provider, I won't say I disagree with it. I do feel like as time has gone along, you should be able to have you are at liberty to choose to what degree you want to do that, especially as a woman, to be domestic. Because personally, I feel that I have absolutely no problem coming home from my work to cook for my family. I'm not going to clean, but I will cook. Do you understand? And that I feel like I'm at liberty to choose how far I want to be domesticated.
Okay.
You know what's funny? I think if you go back to being a young boy, This is really, it's so deep for me, because for a long time this was like, oh, I think it's a way of life. You are told as a young girl and as a young boy, if you physically harm a young girl, you like her. And I think that is how we are also growing up into the idea of that he loves me even though he's hitting me.
Wow.
Do you understand?
Wow.
Because as a kid, you are told that I slang you because I like you, I suck your under.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Now we are not even 30, we are 19 years old. Look at the incidents with this guy in KZN where he beat the girl at school. That could easily be interpreted as, hi, he likes you or he loves you. He just doesn't know how to channel his love for you. And then I think most of the time that's also how we silence the violence.
Yes.
We sort of we tolerate and accommodate this and sort of enhance that monster to become bigger. And that is when it is perpetuated. I love that word.
30 minutes after the hour of 2 o'clock, it is Kofifi FM 97.2, 0714259577. Here's the question towards you, Kofifi lenders. How then do we start by curving, by helping those who has had this mindset, who have this idea that a woman is weaker, that a woman, ought to be domesticated? I love what you said, that you domesticate yourself.
Yes.
To a certain, degree. So how do then we help our young man who is growing up? Because we see it, when we are in the street, when you're driving down the road, how your young man will be pulling on his girlfriend or a friend, just for instance, and they think that is right because I have more muscle.
Yes, I think also it's important to just evaluate for yourself the root of violence in general.
Yeah.
Not even just towards women or towards men, like in general, how we go about it. Especially, I think it's so prevalent in our communities that's why I said that if a child, that's why we as a community, if we don't take the chance to make your neighbor second maker,
yes,
that is when you sort of create this segregation, and that's when a child doesn't feel a part of the community. So in order for them to have a sense of credibility, they are going to start harming one another in order to feel like, so burn down the house or the village to feel its warmth. And that is how you get your sense of belonging.
0714259577, that is the SMS and WhatsApp line.
Hi guys, my name is G. Keep it locked to the KYC from 2 till 3, only on Kofifi FM.
Yeah, you find yourself in an abusive relationship, the best thing is to roar.
Yes.
Speak out. Speak out. Katy Perry is her name. Kofifi FM 97.2 Raw, the title of the song. Before that, Imagine Dragons. What a funny name.
Thunder.
Beautiful song. Beautiful
It
song.
is. It's a feel-good song. Wake
Yeah.
me up in the morning type of thing every day,
Yeah.
not just Monday or Friday, but every day.
Okay. All right, 0714259577. Nicole?
Yes, we have a message that says, I blame the mothers. They teach their children that this is not your mother and don't have to and you don't have to respect her. That's the problem. You, my boy, and you mustn't tell anyone. Oh, yes, you my boy and you mustn't tell anyone. Let anyone tell you what to do. That's the truth.
It is the truth.
I'll be very honest in acknowledging this person for saying this because I think we are a theory community, eh? We like things sound good, but we never at a point where we execute or implement.
Okay.
So this woman is right in saying this, and I like to think this is a mother that's saying this. But I think she's great in saying that because for the most part, in terms of the solution, we as a community can be a solution unto ourselves. However, because we do take this attitude, you wanna send in SMSs and pray for my child, but you don't want somebody that sees him doing something wrong to reprimand him.
All right.
Do you understand?
Okay.
And that is where the problem comes in because you think you can do everything. You can do anything, but not everything. And use the support that you have as the community. But again, like I said, I think in the colored community, we really do fight a lot with each other as opposed to for each other. Because een wil altyd beter as die ander is. Hence, sê is nie jou ma, jy moet nie respect nie. And then you find young guys disrespecting women.
Oh, yes.
Elderly women.
Oh, yes.
And I think as a cycle, because this woman's like, oh, jy's ongeskik. And then she leaves him, so then he thinks what he's doing is right. Next best thing, it's his girlfriend, rough and tough. Same thing. It's a cycle of a progressive cycle of behavior.
Yes.
Again, bringing it back to being as a kid. As young girls, we are taught to always be safe.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you this question as a male. We are always taught not to wear a skirt shorter than this, never to run alone. We are always taught to be in damage control, protective mode. As a young man, have you ever feared for your personal safety?
No.
Do you understand? I can't even go running by myself because there's a chance that I might be trafficked. Or, the worst that could happen to me. I can't do all these things. I'm always taught to be as a young lady. And that is how it perpetuates that we are always almost victimized because we know that, yes, this is a man's world. And I will say this proudly because I agree that it is. So we are sort of under a lot of dominant male rules and defects of a male as well. Hence, most abusers are males and not females.
Yeah.
So I think from young we are taught to be amper bang, because of a male, because of how his temper and whatever, as you said, the war gets taken away, or his mother teaches him, be strong, don't be a sissy. Why does a derogative term has to be used at the expense of a woman for another man's bad doings? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Or just call it for what it is. Like if he's fighting with women, then say that he's an abuser. Don't say that he's a sissy because they slant vrouens. Why does he have to be a sissy? Do you understand? So again, I feel like that's another form of abuse when you're using derogative terms towards women. Sexual harassment, trafficking. There's so many things. But going back to the mentality again, it is always creating women to be a weaker being.
I think one thing that has shaped my thinking regarding the topic is a statement that was made, is that we are born as male, but you become a man.
Yes.
You are not born as a man.
Nope.
You become a man. You are born as a female, you become a woman. And once you got that concept in your mind that sex is not what you choose.
Yes.
I didn't choose to be a man. I didn't choose to be born as a boy. You didn't choose to be born as a girl. It is someone's idea somewhere who's controlling the universe and everything else, deemed as God. But what we control is the behavior from one to another.
Yes.
Based on what we learn, based on the influences that we have.
Second nature.
Learned
behavior.
Yes.
I agree.
So we grow up then in front of, and I'm going to say this with all respect to my father. He did touch and go on my mother. He did, lay hands on her. But I grew up seeing that. I grew up experiencing that. I grew up in that house.
I'm about to clap for what you're going to say. I feel it coming.
I grew up in that house. But at one point or another, you make a choice.
Yes.
You make a choice to become someone who's going to be different.
I agree.
You know, I do not disrespect him. I do not look at him as less of a father, because maybe that is how he has learned and come to know, you know, this is how I'm going to handle my relationship.
Yes.
When I get married one day, you know, it is unto me to learn now how to handle and how I want my relationship to be. So it is with each and every young man. You know, I came out of that abusive, relationship between mom and dad.
Yeah.
But I chose that, you know, it's not going to be my kind of behavior that I'm going to exert on the woman that I'm going to choose to marry one day. So it is with each and every one of us. You can make a choice. It does not always have to be van my pa het die gemaak.
Yes.
I'm going also to make it.
You know, I love your way of thinking, and I always say this because it is a choice.
Yes.
But like many things, and I think especially in the community that we're living in, we see these things all the time. We see girls grow up without their fathers.
Yeah.
It's a choice that you make to either go into that generational curse or cycle. I think you accept it for yourself.
Okay.
You choose to accept it or to embrace it and become that monster that because you have a choice. I know of a guy, a famous ex-basketball player, that also grew up with his dad beating on his mom.
Yeah.
But he made it a point. He says that I can't determine 100% what my children will be in life, but I can determine 100% that as a father, or as far as I can, that they will be good men to their wives and good fathers. Same with his daughter, that she will never be a victim unto these things. We do have a message. I'm gonna get into it now, but I just wanted to say now that forgot what I wanted to say. So passionate about this. So passionate. But I think ultimately, with regards to the learned behavior,
yes,
it's definitely what you see for the most part, because like you said, we are born into a tabula rasa, beautiful word by the way, and we take in sometimes, and this is so sad that not everybody is at liberty or has fully functioning control over what they choose, or they're not fully aware of what they choose until it becomes a monster. The example again of the guy, the young guy in Durban that beat the scholar. They were at school. I saw the video. It is so harsh that I would like to think that he is thinking while he is doing all these things.
Of course he is.
So what is he thinking? And you were saying that there's levels, and I really want to get into that as well. But also, just to sort of highlight, I think they spoke about it on the Vibe as well, with Taylor Swift. She is a celebrity with all privilege, and she actually admitted to this, that she knows that she can win this case by default even. But because she wants to create this awareness and message for young ladies, because she does have a lot of followers, that this guy put his hand under her skirt. She could have left it.
Yes.
She didn't even really sue him for the money, because I don't think that's what it's about. But she sued him nonetheless.
Yeah.
And she won because that was sexual harassment. He was violating her as a woman. And I think that's ultimately the mentality that's being perpetuated based on inferior and superior, that I can violate you at any cost and get away with it. Because it is a very, it's unreported, all these things that's happening now. I mean, I said earlier that we have now Marx Makbunyane, that was last week.
Yes.
And now we have Cyril Ramaphosa being accused of, guys, I feel like when these things happen, because now, I hate to say this, but it's a trend now for women to be in this position. So now that everybody is coming out, now all of a sudden, when it happens, speak about it. Don't be silencing, because that's when you are tolerating it and you are unmask that monster. Let's get into our message. This is basically in response to the person that said earlier that it's the mothers. Okay. So let me just get to it again. Oh boy, I just lost it.
0714259577. Got it?
I got it. It says, I beg to differ. Hubby was raised by a single mom, and he treats me like a queen. And the respect that man shows towards me and his kids. Yes, we have 3 kids, of which 2 boys, and I always teach them to respect women and carry them on a pedestal. And yes, they do. Not all moms are the lady as the lady described. Oh, and by the way, we've been married for 20 years. Happily, may I add, with a whole lot of respect for each other.
Wow.
I love this because the joy of all of this is not all men are bad.
True that.
Not all men have this thing
Yeah.
going on. But, just to sort of add on to this also, you were asking earlier, this is what I wanted to say, by the way. You were saying that how can we be as a solution to
Yeah.
this? I think we need to use men as allies in our community. Because
Okay.
men listen to men.
True that.
So for those of you who are the good ones, like this lady just mentioned, it's Gina, by the way. She is saying that her husband is good and her boys and everything. Great. Men listen to men. So when you see this kind of behavior, don't shed a blind eye and be like, that ain't my problem. We need to speak to each other. Stop these kind of things from happening. As we're saying that men listen to men, that is when the cycle continues. They're like, hi, my brother, find yourself now. Basically. Damn.
All right, 9 minutes before the top of the hour, 3 o'clock, Kofifi FM. We're going to go for a quick break. When we come back, we're concluding the conversation of today.
Give it to mama.
That is your girl B. With green light, you've got the green light. Go. Do not allow yourself to be violated as a woman or as a man. As a person in J.
Yeah.
I feel like, because that's how, another thing with gender-based violence, if you want to say it's just towards women, don't ever make that. Like, as a person, don't think you can Grace Mugabe me. Don't think you can Grace Mugabe me. I am a person. First of all, respect me in my full splendor.
Yeah.
We have a message that says, hey pups, it ain't pups, it's Big Daddy and Nicole up in here, the KYC.
Yeah.
But it says, hey pups, enjoy the show, enjoy the topic. So true, we cannot play the game, the blame game. The choice is yours. Agreed.
True.
Choice is yours.
True that.
We have another one that says, wow, guys, it's sad that we as parents is to be blamed for our kids' upbringing. We pray for our government, and we should also pray for our loved ones. Keep them close to us and also teach them biblical principles. Bless you guys.
I think the first responsibility of raising up a child lies upon the parents. Yes, a community raises up a child, but the first responsibility lies upon that parent.
Agreed.
So I don't know. We are not actually blaming, but we are trying to find solutions, because blaming each other won't help anything.
Same way violence does not help anything.
It doesn't help. But we are trying then to find solutions around what has been happening in our community and what continues to be happening. So as a parent who feels that you are being blamed because son is, smoking drugs, because son is having unruly behavior, at a certain point, like you said, Nicole, you can raise your child up until a certain point and you can't anymore. And there's nothing that you really can do.
Yes.
You can beat him, you can beat her up until she's blue or pink. All that is going to bring division amongst you too. You can do it until a certain point. At one stage or another, you can't do it anymore.
I think as a parent, whether you are blamed or not, you feel bad.
Sure.
That is the route that your child took,
Yeah.
given that you have laid the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And for me personally, I would say that at least until the age of 20, you are still my parent, because for the most of us, some of us are still staying with our parents.
Yes.
Therefore, Allah say as a vet, you have no will. So you give me, you feed me, you clothe me up until that age, and you tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Until then, I'm an adult. After that, I'm an adult, and I get to choose what I want to do.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunate that some of us do choose to being abusive. And when I say abusive, I'm not just speaking about physically, because abusive in all ways possible.
Yeah.
With regards to drugs or just attitude even. We choose to be this selfish, bitter, rude person.
Yeah.
But that is not because we were taught that way. Some of us are brought up very well.
Yeah, the statement in the Bible that says, raise up a child in the way that they should go, and when they grow up, they will not deviate from it.
Yes.
But you can raise them up in that way that they should go. Take them to church, teach them, biblical principles, pray for them. But at the end of the day, it's their choices.
Yes.
My dad took me to church with my mom and still did what he did in his relationship.
But look at how great you turned out.
There we go. I could have made a choice that I want to be, like my father. There's things that I pick up from him, and I love, certain things about him that I've taken upon my life, and I can see the replication in my life. But there are certain things then you just evaluate, because you are grown up, you can think for yourself.
You are at liberty to do so.
You are at liberty to do so. So it is your choice after all.
I just wanted to add also, the Bible say, buig die boom of die tak terwyl hy jonk is.
Yeah.
So as long as I am under your ruling as a parent, do not feel bad or by reprimanding me or slaan my as you moet. You understand? Until I am making my own decisions. And it's so sad that this is definitely like, we call it an epidemic that is taken over. This unruliness. I'm not going to speak about just one thing, but the unruliness of our youth.
Yeah.
And our parents feel bad. I don't think any parent will be like, kom hier mee laiti. I don't think they do that. And it's just sad that that's the decisions that we make as youngsters.
All right, we are out of here. Thank you so very much, Kofifi Landers, for spending time and just listening over the airways. 97.2 Kofifi FM. Have yourself a great, awesome day. The K Drive is coming up next from 3 to 6 o'clock. Nicole, thank you so much.
Yes, donkey boots.
Duke right.